Hey everybody, WhySoWookie here. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the latest for update 20.1. It's quite crazy to think that Pubg's on its 20th season, from pre-release on the Early Access program on console, and even before that on PC, to season 20. It's a testament to how far the game's come. So let's jump into the update and see what's new. So the live server maintenance is as follows. So on PC it'll be hitting on October the 11th or 12th, depending on the time zone. And on console we'll be going to looking at October 19th or 20th, again depending on the time zone. So not too long to wait for this. On the test server on PC, there's just going to be Arangel, Destin and Karakin available. And then when we hit the live servers, quite a big change that I'm not amazingly fond of, but nevertheless. The normal matches in the rotation are going to be Arangel, Destin, Tego, Sanhok and Karakin. So we're not going to have Miramar in the rotation for the first time ever, I think. Sanhok's coming back, replacing Paramo, and Karakin is also coming in as well. That's quite crazy to think, really. Still no Vikendi, but I reckon the big Vikendi update is probably going to be the next update, to be fair. And then the first major new update is quite a bit of weapon balancing for the attachments, and it's all to do with the grips this time. So some have had buffs, some have had little nerfs, and it's to basically give it a more even playing field, so not everybody uses the same grips every single game in the same way, and it's to mix up the meta a little bit. So the thumb grip has had its ADS speed increased as well as its vertical recoil control. The angled has had its sway control reduced. Its horizontal recon control increased. Its ADS speed has stayed the same, and its sway control has been reduced. The half grip has had its sway control reduced. Its sway control also reduced. But its horizontal recon control is now a lot less than the angled grip. So for the ace, the angled grip is probably going to be the best now. Vertical foregrip has had its sway control whilst firing reduced from 15% to 0. And the lightweight grip has had 20% added to its recoil recovery after each shot, which is pretty good. So again, the lightweight for your single shot DMRs, your, like your SKS and your Mark 12 is going to be really good. Next, the next major change is firing from vehicles. So from the driver's perspective, reloading handguns will be instantly cancelled if the driver controls the vehicle while steering, just like when you're doing a boost. Therefore, players can reload handguns when the vehicle is moving in a single direction only. The handgun reload duration in the vehicle is increased by approximately 50%, so it takes longer. And then on PC, the handgun recoil is increased by approximately 20%. I'm not sure if this was needed personally. I don't often see people driving around pistoling in the driver's seat, especially because seat swapping is just so prevalent. It's like, yeah, sometimes you do it for fun and it's, you know, a good laugh, but I mean, the majority of the time, like even if you're playing solos, you don't bother messing around pistoling. You just seat swap and use your barrel or your M4. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure this was needed particularly, but they've made the decision, and that's that. Because assuming you're on a motorbike and you couldn't seat swap, and you were chasing after someone pistoling, it's like it's going to be even less of a viable option now if you can't even reload while circling or whatever. For passengers, the weapon recoil on PC is increased by 10%, so it's going to be even harder to shoot people out of cars on PC. I think this is more a PC issue because it's much easier to control, so they're trying to balance that out a little bit there, but not affected on the console. The next update is the 8 scope and the 15 scope. To have ARs not compatible on a full auto, not capable of full auto, more useful. Scopes 8 times and higher are now attachable to the M16 and the Mark 47 Mutant. So you'll now be able to put an 8 scope and an M16 and a 15 scope and an M16 and a Mutant, which is really crazy to think actually. You know, that's cool, because a lot of the time the problem that you have is you'll have a 6 scope on your M16 while you're waiting on finding your DMR or your bolt action, and you'll find an 8 scope and then your bag's full, you know where to put it, and it's just really annoying. So this will sort that out. The Forescope Reticle, which has 3 different variants, as you can see there. Now, instead of it being automatic on certain weapons, you'll now be able to choose which one you prefer. I personally prefer this middle one with the little chevron and then the rest out of the way. I find it the easiest to line up the headshots. This circle one, which is on like your AK and stuff, I absolutely hate. I feel like it just takes up too much room. You can't see what you're doing. And this one, again, the fact that there's lines fully is a bit distracting for me, but I like the middle one, which is what you usually get on your mini. So I'll probably set that to be the same on all of mine. Next, obviously in the next update, it'll be the beginning of the ranked season 20. So if you enjoy playing ranked to unlock your cool parachutes, that'll be beginning for you. And then at the same time, when the update goes live, you'll get your season 19 rewards if you've earned them, which again is your cool parachute and stuff. Next, there's been some world updates. So there's some PGC 2022 banners going around the maps. There's a flag on the back of the plane, stuff like that. And again, it's just to advertise the new esports tournament for the tail end of this year. Next, the Destined safe zones have been adjusted slightly. Again, I'm not 100% sure about these, but we'll have to see how it feels. So the phase 1, the radius size of the circle is increased by about 30%. That's fine, but the start delay is now a lot slower. In the phase 2, the radius size is still increased, but the damage multiplier per distance is also increased. Now, for me, the dev comment on this is that a lot of people seem to die in the blue, but for me, I think the issue is not the fact that the rings are too small, is that there's a lack of vehicle spawns, and they'd have solved this way better by just adding more vehicles available on the map. Also, the problem that I have with Destiny a lot of the time in games is that your mid-game is so boring because the ring's so big and there's so many compounds in it that every single team is just in a compound sat there chilling, waiting on the rings shrinking until they eventually have to move. And making the rings even bigger around the first couple of phases is only going to make that situation worse. I'm sure they'll take a lot of feedback on this and it'll probably get tweaked in the future. But for me, the better way to have improved that mid-game and stopping people dying in the blue that is such a problem would be to just have more vehicle spawns on the map. And again, vehicles traveling around all the time causes conflicts and it makes it more exciting. And for me, I think they should have added way more vehicle spawns. So no matter which compound you land at, there's always a vehicle or 2 options nearby where there's casual spawns. Not every single one, but there'll be 3 spawns nearby where you know you can get a vehicle. And have the rings shrink faster, because it'd force people into each other. Yeah, they'd be in vehicles and people would be crashing into towns and taking each other on, and you know, the vehicle combat. But it would stop that sluggish mid-game. I think this has gone the other way, where it's just going to increase the length of that sluggish mid-game. Because on Destiny, a lot of the time you land somewhere, you fight your initial battle, you win your battle or you lose. But if you win your battle, you loot up, you travel into the ring, you find a compound, you sit there and you chill until the ring shrinks again. If you're in the ring again, you still stay sitting chilling, because if you're playing to win, just randomly walking around outside, it's not a good idea, is it? But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. They've made some additions to the Origin shell, which can now take from 2 scopes up to 6 times scopes. Not sure how useful that's going to be, but we'll have to see. Probably the 2 scope will be useful. But again, the Origin 12, although it does have quite a long effective range. I've not seen it used like that really, but this might change that. Jammer packs have been tweaked slightly. So the blue zone damage the jammer pack receives increased by about 20%, so it won't last as long while in the blue. And then the jammer pack can only be found as a world spawn in Miramar, Karakin, Haven, and Destin. Arangal has had a sunset weather added to its playlist, which looks quite nice. Mix it up a little bit. In the customizable section, it's added a wardrobe selection, so you can have 5 different presets. Now obviously, you can unlock coupons for the second preset, usually by doing the passes, and then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are unlocked by purchasing a coupon in the store. But again, it means you can have them preset, so if you unlock them, your outfit's already done, which is pretty cool. Saves messing around with that menu to remember which preset you're on. They've tweaked the carry system, so when you've got a down teammate and you're carrying on to safety, they've tweaked that to make it easier. They've tweaked when you mark something up, so when you mark a window up now, as you move your reticle closer to the marking, it'll go fainter, which hopefully will stop it blocking the guy that's peeking you that you can no longer see because you've marked it. As well as that, they'll automatically be removed after 30 seconds, which saves you from having to manually do that, which is a nice feature. I also like this as well, where if you look towards it, it'll go fainter, and hopefully it will stop then a guy poking up and you not being able to see him because of the actual marker to tell people he's there. They've improved the radio messages to make it more obvious what you're actually trying to call out. I'm not too sure many people use this. I'm sure people play a lot more random squads and stuff like that. They probably use it a lot more than I do. But for me, it doesn't get a lot of use time. They've changed some of the UI. They've changed the starting playing UI. They've adjusted the PC instant volume reducer, console voice chat. All consoles will now have frame rate and resolution options. However, only the Xbox Series X and PlayStation will have the anti-aliasing options. In the workshop, they've now added the Bunny Express, the special delivery, the Victorinox 83 and 84 into there, so you'll be able to unlock those through that. In the hideout, they've tweaked it so you can't accidentally delete your weapons that you've upgraded level 2 and above. I'm not sure there can be that many people out there doing that by accident, but I suppose it's a safety net just in case you click it by mistake, you click the wrong button. Yeah, I suppose you would be really annoyed if you did that by accident, so I suppose it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. They've changed up the UI when you're customizing your profile banner to clean it up a little bit. They've done a little bit of performances and they've fixed an absolute bucket load of bugs. We're not going through all the bug fixes here, but there'll be a link to the article here in the comments of the video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider liking and subscribe to see more. Wookie out.